Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Man United agenda. And it's Friday, and what is it? A sign-in is very close to be announced, and as Casemiro, apparently, Real Madrid and Man United have agreed a terms with Real Madrid. So, guys, welcome to the channel. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Man United agenda. And it is Friday, and it's that Friday feeling. As always, we're joined by Omundi. Sir, how you doing?
Yeah, very happy. Very happy with the developments, and looking forward to Monday. Yeah, I'm cool.
Monday, I wonder what Monday's got in store for us. And Brosh, sir, welcome back. How you doing? How you feeling today?
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I feel a bit indifferent, but we'll get into that as the show goes on.
And Bath Time, thank you for joining us as well. How are you doing after Tuesday night? That beautiful show you done for Monday.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'm good solo. I went running this morning, had a little bit of indigestion earlier in the day, but bouncing back strong and ready to
go. And guys, as you know, the latest rumor is, well, we've got two things to talk about today. We were originally going to talk about the takeover of Manchester United because I haven't had any sort of we haven't spoke about it really and truly myself on here. I don't think Brush nor has Bath Time, but we're not going to go into that because the latest rumor is a transfer that came out of nowhere whatsoever. Manchester United and Real Madrid apparently have come to some agreement to sign 30-year-old Casemiro from Real Madrid. So, guys, I'm just going to ask the panels on here. Let's go to I don't know. Let's go to Brush. Brush, is this a transfer you saw on the radar, or is it just something just creeped up out of nowhere?
I mean, like with most things that happen with this club, it came out of nowhere, right? There's no real strategy involved. Like, I don't know how we've stumbled across this, but we're here. Yeah, mixed emotions about this one. On paper, listen, it's fantastic. We've been crying out for a DM for donkey's years, and it looks like we're finally getting one. Me and Omondi have touched before on the fact that the destroyer DM is kind of a thing that's dying out. Casemiro's last of a dying breed. He's very good at what he does, but you know the game is starting to move on. He's 30, going on 31 in February. He's going to be demanding high wages. I think the wages he's going to be on will make him like the fourth highest in the league when he comes, behind Ronaldo, Haaland, and Salah. A lot of pressure on him. He's already achieved everything there is to win in the game. Wrong side of 30. Have lessons not been learnt from Varane? Is that something we have to look out for? These are the questions that I need to ask. Obviously, it's an upgrade on anything we have. Even a 35-year-old Casemiro would slot in ahead of Fred or McTominay for me. So yeah, mixed emotions, man. Mixed emotions. I'm not quite sure how we've got here. There are pros, but there are also a lot of cons. I would like to hear everyone's thoughts.
Yeah, and I'm going to go straight to Bath Time with that now. Bath Time, obviously, it's moved from originally we're talking about the Declan Rice, then we went to Ten Hag and we're talking about De Jong, and now from De Jong we've gone through every single play you can think of. And as what Bruce said, it's almost like there's not been any strategy whatsoever with Manchester United, which doesn't surprise a lot of us because there never is. It's almost like hit and hope and see who we bring into the club. With him coming in, he's got vast experience of winning trophies. He's got sort of Brazilian as well. And I'm going to be listening to your comments here because I know there's a few people on here who doesn't like Fred or don't think Fred's a good player. But I think he was slotting perfectly with Fred as well because they played together for Brazil. So, Bath Time.
Yeah. Right. Quite a lot you asked there, Solo. My thoughts on Casemiro?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm much more upbeat than Brush on this. Casemiro is an outstanding player. I know he's quite old, as Brush said, but he's still younger than De Bruyne, than Salah. We've seen that magical sort of Real Madrid trio over the years destroy every English midfield, with the exception of one, actually, which was obviously Harry Winks. But he is, it's true, he is an outstanding player. I'm really, really excited to see what he does. However, I'm not completely sure that he solves our midfield issue of progressing the ball up the pitch. I think he tightens us up in a lot of areas. He brings standards and levels that we haven't seen for a very long time to this midfield. I'm still not sure about Fred Solo. I know you love him, but if we are buying Casemiro to unlock Fred, what Pogba must be thinking over Juve? I have no idea, and I just think it's hilarious. We've gone from Rabiot to signing Casemiro. It's insanity, but I'm really pleased. Omundi, bring me down to earth.
I'm not. We got attack Brush today. We got to clean that bush because he's way out of line. Way out of line. I've just made a few notes here. He's 30 years old. That's on the cusp of. He's got 5-6 years of good football left in him. He's a DM player, a position we needed. He's world class. There's no doubt about that. Anyone want to argue with me about that? Let's go. He's a complete player, real complete player. He can do a bit of everything, and I just love watching him play. As Bath Town has just demonstrated. He's proved it in against English clubs before, even like a few months ago in the Champions League final. I think about Fernandinho. He came to Man City at the age of 28, 29, I think, and lasted till he's 35. So apart from him having chubby cheeks, Casemiro, which is a bit of concern maybe, you know, if he's going to start. It's all about his attitude. I want to see what sort of attitude he's got. Has he got that Fernandinho attitude to sort of drive himself, keep himself fit, stay away from the cakes, and last till 35, 36, 37, and be a great force for us in the midfield. He's got a great CV as well. That's why I don't mind paying the money. And also, people complain about the money. It's not coming out of your pockets, is it, guys? I think it's about being a big club. This is what big clubs do. We negotiate with a big club for a big player who's world class, and we shouldn't complain about what wage he's on because we're willing to pay that for Frankie de Jong, and he's got the CV. He ticks all the boxes for me. Big club, big player. This is what we do. So don't be confounded, anybody, by that. That's what I would say. And I do love him as a player. I think he's going to be great for us. I think he's got that Portuguese, speaks Portuguese as well. So he'd be looking at, there'd be players at our club that he can speak to and get along with. I think he'd settle really easy because of the style of play that we have. And thankfully, Bath Time's on the panel today because there's a few questions I wanted to ask him, which is almost already answered about how he would help us with bringing the ball out of play, because that's a big issue at the moment. So overall, I'm delighted.
And saying that, Omundi, I was going to go to Bath Time next, and I was going to ask Bath Time as well. Obviously, bringing Casemiro into the club with how Ten Hag plays already, do you think he might need to set up a different sort of system to fit Casemiro into how his style of play is?
I'm not sure. I mean, so first of all, Casemiro probably allows our midfield to play a bit higher up the pitch. Whilst he's not super fast or anything like that, he is much more mobile than Matic was, and he probably reads the game better than Matic does. So he gives us a lot of security when we get up the pitch. I don't think that he is able to progress the ball up the pitch any more or less than someone like Eriksen. So I think that what we will see is we will see one of the other midfielders or a fullback going to make a back three with Martinez and Maguire or Varane or Phil Jones, maybe, whoever they're putting in the back line. So I think it's Ten Hag has got to be a bit more pragmatic instead of this lovely sort of poetical, single DM, everyone passing, lovely. We need to get men back, and then we need to be able to get the ball up the pitch safely, and then we'll see the absolute quality of Casemiro if we've got 65% possession and we're well up next to their box. It's going to be fantastic. I can't wait to see him.
No, thanks for that. That's really good. Because also going to Brush now, I was going to ask Brush the next question where you sort of touched on a little bit with about the ball carry as well. And I think that's where Manchester United sort of lacking. So we've got the sort of defensive midfield sort of play we're looking for. Casemiro can bring the ball out a certain area, but then it's the other part of the pitch where he can't actually physically carry the ball to. So with that as well, bringing him in, Brush, do you think we need another sort of player? I know we've been linked with Anthony, but do we need Anthony now? Now we've got Casemiro in the club.
I'm going to hold tight on Anthony for a second and just touch on what Vaughan was speaking about, and I agree with him. Yeah, you do need a ball progressor. Like, I don't think I would be very upset if this puts an end to the De Jong thing. Like, I would want De Jong to come and accompany Casemiro to really get the best out of this. The best case scenario is that this works out similar to how Claude Makelele got on at Chelsea, but we've got to remember that they were, serious at the time, and they didn't rest on their laurels. They were adding to that team. It's all about structure. Structure is the key. We talked about what Casemiro offers, what he's done in that midfield at Real Madrid, but you got to remember it's a different kettle of fish altogether when you're coming into a team with Scotty and Fred, and leaving behind Modric and Cruz. And again, for Brazil, yes, he plays next to Fred, but look at the rest of the team. There's structure there. So it's going to take time. He does answer a few of the issues that we have, but we shouldn't just rest on that, or we're going to be in big trouble. For me, in terms of the kind of midfielders that would suit him currently in our team, are ones that don't really get into the team. It's the likes of Donny and Ericsson. So, yeah, I'm going to be keeping an eye on the rest of the window and seeing how it goes. I hope that this doesn't put an end to the De Jong thing.
To be honest for me, I don't think the De Jong deal will sort of disappear, and I think it's going to be something sort of January time where we'd go back in for De Jong.
And listen, if it's not De Jong, cool, but there needs to be addressed. And also, I don't know why this club do this to us, man. Like 2 weeks ago, we were shopping in the bargain bucket for Anthony Rabiot, for Adrian Rabiot rather, and getting bids rejected for Arnautovic, and all of a sudden they found money for Casemiro and now Anthony, which I'm hearing is 80 million euros with 20 million added on. So where was all of this at the start of the window? This kind of stuff really pisses me off.
Right, we've got a super chat. Omundi, are you taking the comments there, or should we get it to bath time?
We can toss for it, but I'll take this one. Enstod says $5. He's given us $5 to the channel, so thank you so much. And he's saying United will have a good team. Rome was not built in a day. Trust in Ten Hag.
Yeah, and our Dutch correspondent have said it as well. Usually on the channel, saying that you've got to give him at least 3 months. That was it, because apparently it took him a while to get utilized to the way acclimatized to Ajax, and from that, basically build them strength to strength as well. So we've got to give him time, and I'm willing to give Ten Hag time anyway. I predicted where I think we're finishing the league, but I'll still back the manager. I was going to say, Amanda, you want to go through some of the comments by any chance, or should we give bath time? Bath time. I know you go on. Go on, bath time. Take it away.
All right, Matthew Bassett. Big up everyone on the show and in the chat. Gavin Ward, evening campers, Heidi Hilo. Montreal, he missed 6 days only because of muscular problems last season. The rest was an abdominal flu and an infection. Interesting.
Yankee Talk Smack, long time no see, big up.
King's Football Show, looking forward to this stream. Casemiro is a great signing. Casemiro replaces McTominay and Scott could be sold. Yank Talking Smack would love to see Sommer and Pulisic come in now. Possibly Dest after the news out of Barca today. Great that they have potentially signed Casemiro. Great player, but too old and too much money. The one signing is too little, too late. If they sign 6 others this transfer window, then fair enough. World-class signing.
Mr. B.
To me, Casemiro is a really good stopgap until our kids become ready to take over the midfield. Anthony Dest and De Jong next week, maybe. Casemiro is not reliant on pace, so his age is not a big issue in my opinion, and he still plays at the very highest level. Casemiro, Fred, Ericsson. It's not bad at all. We are like beggars standing outside a bar all day. Now that it's 1 a.m, we're stumbling upon some generous drunks giving us money. Bracket players.
Welcome to the channel as well.
Yeah, welcome Himanshu.
Okay, so go on. We'll take a couple of Cosmon as well in the building.
All right, I don't understand anything. Are we going for Anthony or Gakpo? I said so many prayers and lit so many candles to the holy patron saint of Ireland, Jack Charlton. put them under pressure, that we would finally sign a DM. It's only took 6 years. No more Team Jellyfish. Brush, you handsome devil.
Thank you.
My
Thanks for
pleasure.
that.
I love Mr. B's voice. He gave Mr. B a real growly, bassy voice, which he has got.
Yeah. Well, it's
Can we just say hello to this dude as well, please?
Exhibit. He's going to give it to you. Why we sign player if we still play our slabhead goat Maguire?
Sorry to interrupt. We are going to have a special guest on in a minute as well, so we keep going. We've got a surprise guest coming on the channel. So sorry, Bath time. Keep going.
Well, okay, Exhibit's back again. To be honest, Casemiro is a good signing. Other defensive mid-quality below him, except Kimmich, Kante, and Fabinho.
That's your lot. Thank you very much.
Thanks for doing that. So, guys, we're going to keep going with this as well. Obviously, Casemiro, 30 years old, he's expected to land in the UK in the next 24 to 48 hours. Contract agreement is a 4 year with a further 1 year extension if you'd like it to be. So we're looking at what, 35, 36 by the time he finished. So again, what for me and the way I look at this is it's a case of bringing him in to I think someone said in a comment to basically understand and getting the youngsters to be at certain levels as well. Go to Brush.
Yeah, I mean, again, but there's no structure to anything. Only last week we were hearing that James Garner could be on the move. Why are we selling him? So, you know, a player like Garner is who I'd want to be understudy to a Casemiro, so he can tutor him.
Okay, sorry to interrupt. And guys, welcome Phil to the channel, sir. How we doing?
Doing good, lads. How's it going, lads? Thanks for having me. Sorry, I was off brushing my hair. Thanks for having me as always, lads. Much appreciated. I just get finished with my own pod, so
luckily I don't have that issue, Phil.
All right, man.
What it is, Phil, we've just been talking about, just interrupting the guys slightly, we've just been talking about the deal for Casemiro. Rumors is that it's confirmed that Man United and Real Madrid have they've done it together, but what we're trying to understand is, was there a transfer strategy, and was it something that just plugged out of the sky? Just give us your thoughts on it, please.
Yeah, so here's the thing, lads. Manchester United have been run exactly the same way from day one, since the Glazers took over in 2005, as a result of their ideology. So they haven't changed. And they implemented certain policies at the football club that are not consistent with what they just did. For example, in 2020, Solskjaer wanted Thiago Alcantara. And Thiago Alcantara's agent was begging United to send him. Said he didn't want to go to Liverpool. Please give him a 4-year contract. I think he was 29 at the time. Joe Glazer said, absolutely not. No 4-year deal for a 29, 30-year-old. We don't give players who are 30 with no resale value those type of contracts. And they never have. Now, even when Nemanja Matic, right, you know, he didn't get a 4-year deal, or anyone of that matter. So how do you go from being parsimonious, targeting Adrian Rabiot and targeting Marko Arnautovic, to signing Casemiro for 60 million and violating every single one of your rules and principles, right, by spending that money on a player you've got no resale value on? And I'm saying that he's a great signing. I'm delighted he's here. And giving him contracts that's a complete contradiction from your own policies that you have strictly adhered to. And then go from Marko Arnautovic to 100 million for Anthony, whenever a month ago United said 80 million was massively overpriced. And they were right. So they've become Barcelona overnight.
There was also a rumor earlier this week, Phil, that there was a £130 million offer rejected for João Felix. Where's the money suddenly come from?
£30 million in the bank, lads, a week ago. And all of a sudden, Manchester United are spending with the confidence that there's hundreds of millions to spend. Glazers are now spending 60 million on a player with no resale value. It's almost like they're not going to be around to realize the resale value. Something has fundamentally changed in the last couple of days that's allowed United to go to market with confidence that they didn't have before, right? And so also, like we said, this is not consistent with how United do business. They just don't do this. And there's no way United, the Glazers woke up one day and said, we're going to be benevolent owners. Here's a bunch of money to spend. So to me, there's reasons they're doing this that transcend being a good football team, because they didn't really care about that. And clearly there's consequences to not being a good football team. But whenever you're targeting Rabiot and Arnautovic, those are signings you make to stay up. They're not signings you make to compete with Liverpool and City. Casemiro is a signing you make to compete with Liverpool and City. Now, I understand the De Jong situation, right? Or even that. So United's opening offer for De Jong was less than what Casemiro's deal was. And Frankie De Jong's in his prime, and a crucial player, and a completely different one to Casemiro. So I just don't understand. It makes no sense. Something has fundamentally changed. I assume the Glazers feel they're going to get that money back in an acquisition. It'll be, if United go out and spend 150 million between now and the end of the window, it'll be around an hour for anyone trying to buy the football club. I just don't understand how you go. How you go from shopping in Parent Stretcher to shopping in Harrods.
You stole your line there, Brush.
Right,
you missed it, Phil. I was pretty much along the same lines before you jumped in.
Sorry, man, but crack. It's just trying to make sense of that.
Listen, it's Glazonomics at its finest, is what it is. Even when we look at the arrivals of Varane and Ronaldo, it's a similar sort of thing. They look at the shirt sales on the overall global brand. It just so happens that we've stumbled onto a player right now in Casemiro who can actually do the business on the field as well. But, like you say, wrong side of 30, huge wages. There's a lot of cons for me. The fact that Real Madrid are willing to let a player go, you need to look at why that is. We're helping to refinance their rebuild because they're looking 10 years ahead into the future. They've got Camavinga, Tchouaméni, who they're overpaid for, but this allows them to then bring that net spend down and balance their books. Why are we in that position where we're picking up their leftovers? We should be proactive, not reactive.
I completely agree with all of that. I do think Casemiro improves United.
Absolutely, without doubt.
I don't think Casemiro and Antony are shirt sellers. And if you look at the two most expensive players to be sold from the Eredivisie, it's De Jong and De Ligt. De Ligt got sold this summer for the same, more or less the same as what he left the Eredivisie. In the Eredivisie, you're buying potential because there's certain questions you're not going to get asked in the Eredivisie that you're going to get asked in top leagues. If your value doesn't increase after going to Juventus, then you failed. So De Jong was also going to be sold for slightly less than what he was bought for. So the risk that United are taking on someone like Antony, right, who scored 8 goals last season in the Eredivisie, Gakpo scored twice as many, right, is unbelievable. This again, it's fine if you're a football club with a bottomless pit of cash, if you're Manchester City or PSG, because you can afford to get it wrong. United can't afford to get this wrong. So the risk increases when you're buying players from the Eredivisie. There is no player in the Eredivisie worth 100 million. None. It's insane. I don't care if you score 50 goals every game in the Eredivisie. You're not worth 100 million because the transition to the Premier League is massive. Look at Ziyech. Look at Van de Beek. There's just the risk is enormous. And this is where I'm looking at going, all of a sudden, United have got money to lose. Not money to spend, money to lose.
Absolutely.
Sorry, I was going to go on. I was going to come to bath time next. Go on, bath time.
Yeah.
Go on.
Cheers. What you were saying earlier about something has fundamentally changed with the Glazers in the last couple of days, and it's appearing to allow them to spend more money. Do you think that is finding sort of more cash flow from the rumours of selling 25% of future TV rights,
Yeah.
or from the minority stake? Like, where do you think that this injection of funds is coming from?
Well, that's a logic extrapolation. It's one of three things. It's either from imminent investment. It's either they have to sustain the asset, lads, until it gets sold. If you look at Chelsea, the Russians invaded Ukraine at the end of February. Those sanctions came mid-March. It took a few months before the club was sold because there was multiple buyers. Now they'll have more buyers than Chelsea. So it wouldn't be an overnight process. And the worst thing that could happen is if United are sitting in the bottom three, still trying to be sold, because the price of players would be massively inflated in January. The price of the club would drop. The potential for us to salvage the season would go through the floor. To recover the Adidas money, all this stuff. That Adidas deal's up 2024, 25. Those things get negotiated at least a year and a half out. That's coming up for negotiation, right? So United are going to have players outside of Ronaldo, right, that make it appealing for Adidas to even renew on their current terms. So it's either imminent investment. If they are allowed to sell off future revenues, remember Barcelona did this with the permission of their fans, right? And they are in debt for wholly different reasons. I don't really think, I know people talk about partial investment, lads, but let's think about this logically for a second. So if the Glazers turn around to an investor and say, we need 300 million, whatever, to invest, or 500 million, and we're going to sell you partial equity in the football club because we need that to build a stadium or whatever. They're diluting their ownership of Manchester United, which will affect how much they get when they eventually sell the club, to reinvest that 500 million back in the club, because they'll have to reinvest every penny of it. So why would the Glazers not just sell the football club in its entirety, walk away with all the money, then sell a partial part of the football club to reinvest that money back in the football club? That doesn't make sense to me. If I'm going to come up to you and say, tell you what, I'm going to buy 40% of your house, and when you sell it, what you're going to do with the money that I'm going to give you is you're going to do it up, and you're going to put new furniture and everything in, you're going to make it look really nice, and then we're going to sell it, and I'm going to own 40% when you sell it, rather than I'll just sell you at 100% and do what you want with it, because I can walk away with all the money. I mean, the Glazers aren't in Manchester United to invest another 400 or 500 million into the football club. That would be their money. If they sold a big significant portion of the football club just over a year ago, they walked away with 130 million treasured to cash. And every time they've done that, they took the money out. So I don't see them selling a partial part of this football club to someone to then use that money to reinvest in Manchester United, which they badly need. And that's the only way they're getting that money. So this is a catch-22 for them. It just, I think that they feel the market out this way by offering a part of it to see who's interested. And then, of course, that progresses into, do you want all of it? And to me, that Manchester United would only be attractive to the type of people with that type of money if the Glazers are going to sell it. I mean, I'm not getting in the car, in a passenger seat of a car, if a guy can't drive it and keeps wrecking it, and I'm going to give him more money to go keep driving the car. At some point, I got to kick him out and drive myself.
Yeah. Omundi, let's go to you now. Obviously, we're talking about part of the television rights. It's come out today that obviously they are looking to utilize some of the money, cash flow. So with that, is that again like what Phil done? Phil sort of answered it by saying obviously the investment must be coming from somewhere. But where has been the strategy from the beginning of Manchester United though?
Strategy is to win trophies, I imagine, major trophies, and be up there in the league. That's what I expect it to be. You need to be winning. You need to be beating your competitors out there. And we're not. We haven't been. So we've been failing for a long time now. And with all this news that's come out recently, the last couple of weeks about the takeover and being unhappy with the owners, current owners of the club, then maybe that stirred something to happen, maybe in the transfer market to appease the fans, I believe, and we are appeased. We're soaking this up just like we did last season with big signings like Ronaldo coming in. But I do think Casemiro is a great little player. I think he's. I don't mind about the age. I think he's perfect to come into the side and fix our little problem, because this is a long-term goal and we have to be patient. There's going to be a lot of developments over the next couple of years, I'm sure, at this football club before we get to the stage that we want to get to. So all these things that are happening right now, I just think there's, like Brush was saying, there's pros and cons and there's question marks. We are asking questions, and I think if anyone wants to ask anything, today's the day, because we've got people on the panel who will be able to sort of scratch the surface and sort of make things a lot clearer for us, especially me as well, because when it comes to the business side of football, I'm lost.
And sort of Brush, I know, again, I'm going to touch on it. Phil touched on it as well, about obviously the shirt sale and things like that as well. It's the players that sort of we're looking at the moment, like Casemiro, he's not going to probably really and truly sell a shirt. Anthony ain't going to really try and sell a shirt. So for the Glazer to hold on to something, basically the De Jong and things like that, that's sort of players they're looking probably to sign as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, you know, with Casemiro, it's about the track record of what he's won, what he's achieved in the game. It's the same way they hyped up Varane when he arrived, you know. And then with Anthony, he is an up-and-coming, exciting talent. One that I see as a luxury signing. I agree with Phil, especially with the fees being discussed right now in this day and age. I don't understand why we can't wait on that for a year and maybe go back. I don't see it as an urgent signing. It's a bit mental to me. But again, we've seen this time and time again. Scattergun approaching the market, no real strategy or planning. And we're scrambling again towards the end of the window.
Yeah, and I'm going to go to quick one, bath time again. Sort of like trying to get Casemiro in and trying to apparently get all these deals done. All of a sudden, coming out of nowhere now. We play Liverpool on Monday. Is this part of the Glazers trying to deflect the protests by trying to say influence? We're going to get so many players in.
I think it's probably a combination of two things. Like in life, if you don't really understand someone's motivations, it's the best way to look is if it's either driven by fear or by greed. We know that the Glazers are continuously driven by greed, but this sounds like this is fearful behaviour. Casemiro, a great player, isn't someone you'd normally associate with the Ten Hag side. I agree with Brush. He's not going to sell a lot of jerseys. He might open up new markets in Brazil. To flog stuff out there. I'm not sure, but he isn't really going to help with the progressive passing team. And also, so the Glazers they're under pressure, and they've suddenly found this new money from somewhere. Like, we are not a cash-rich club from all accounts. So it could be a combination of like them panicking about what's going to happen on Monday. Because I mean, God knows, it could be biblical out there. We have no idea, because there's huge anger towards everyone. In the last protests, like Manchester United and the Greater Manchester Police have been mercilessly and relentlessly prosecuting people who were involved in calling the game off against Liverpool. There's huge anger in the United fan base, and it could all come out. And the Glazers are just like, let's just get in another Real Madrid 5 times Champions League winner. It's been brilliant with Ronaldo. It's been brilliant with Varane. What could go wrong?
And Phil, I'm going to come to you, because I'm going to ask the same thing about the protest and how the injection of the money as well, and see what your thoughts are on it as well.
So here's the thing, lads, right? There's a couple of risks here. We're talking about selling off future television revenue. If you look at United's results over the last 20 games, it'd be second bottom. And they've somehow managed to get worse. Ask Everton if they were too good to go down. There's no guarantee that TV revenue is going to be there. For the Premier League to be a successful commercial entity, they need a strong Manchester United. They will be desperate to get the Glazers out themselves. You look at the LFP and Javier Tebas when it comes to people like Messi. They desperately want to keep Messi at Real Madrid because, it increases how much the TV rights are worth. Right? So that is very, very important. So the Premier League will be looking for ways to implement that Glazer Todd Bowley clause to try to take away the incentives to the Glazers to own the football club. Agreeing with the fact that they've appeased fans 2 ways, typically, through signings or through results. The problem with doing it through signings is happiness comes from the first derivative. So there's a difference between pleasure and happiness. You sign a player, it feels great for 5 minutes, but if they go out on the pitch and they lose 5-0, it wears off really fast. So really the only way to do it is through results. So these players have to go out and perform for that to be effective. I mean, how much does Malacia, Eriksson, and Martinez mean to Manchester United fans right now? Very little, right? Because they're getting murdered, right? You know, how much does Ronaldo mean to United fans right now? Very little. So the only way to do this is to be successful on the pitch. And that has been a serious problem since Ferguson left. So the Glazers can't accomplish that. They've come close. Cruising altitude for the Glazers is sitting about second, right? So that you're just not shit enough where you're going to get protests, and you don't have to pay all the bonuses for winning trophies and finishing first. You still get the Champions League money and everything else. That's fine, right? So they're not really in this to catch Man City or Liverpool. They're not going to try to compete with Man City, nor can they, right? So the only way that happens is if the football club gets bought. So even if you get temporary success, from my opinion, it's not sustainable unless you have sufficient investment year after year after year after year. This is why I'm saying the reason you can spend $1 billion and waste it when you do exactly what you need to do. That's our first target. Pursue him all summer. We're not going to get him. He's a bit good. He'll do. We'll spend it there. All right. And then you hold on to that guy for 6 years longer than what you should have because you couldn't afford to get it wrong. Right. And that's how you waste $1 billion. And that's Joe Glazer's fault, 100%. None of these problems have been addressed. These problems still exist. And so to me, I feel that that these signings, as great as they are, unless they result in United winning games, the sugar high will wear off in 5 minutes. So these are gimmicks. So to me, I think United are in a very, very serious position, and these signings should have been done 6 weeks ago. So they've already put Ten Hag in a very difficult situation. You've already got players leaking about him. Right? I knew this was going to happen. Oh, we don't feel his approach is good enough, consistent, commensurate with our mentality and everything. Sir, this is what happens when you have got a dressing room full of players with PR agencies. Terrell Malacia had a Twitter account 5 minutes after signing for Manchester United. Right? So, and so would Adrian Rabiot have had if he'd have signed for Manchester United. So, Joe Glazer says, we're not letting Cristiano Ronaldo go, no matter what, how toxic he is in the dressing room, no matter what Ten Hag says, because he's worked too much to us commercially. Now, all of a sudden, they've got money.
Oh, brilliant. Thanks, Phil, for that. Guys, there is 53 in the chat. If you're new to the channel, please give us a subscribe. And also remember, just give us a like as well. Armando or Bath Time, which one wants to go to the comments? Who wants to do a few comments quickly? Just about 2 or 3.
Okay, just 2 or 3. I'll just do them quickly then. I want to say hi to Bill Badger, obviously, because Bill Badger is very important to us. How you doing, Bill Badger? He says good evening to everybody. Flex Felix, also very important to us. Welcome back. Haven't seen you for a while. He's saying they made 240 million from share prices going up this week. Pat Lawless is saying, in hindsight, Chukwuemeka and Camavinga make perfect business sense to sell Casemiro to United to improve the fund for the Real Madrid team. That's a good point. Cosman's in the house. He's saying the Glazers are keeping the club for the kids. For their kids, sorry. Phil,
their kids want them to sell it.
Steve Fletcher saying
they do. They do.
And Gary, just say hi to Gary. He said, "Hi guys, Ollie Ball's back with Casemiro." I'll leave it as that.
We've got also another newbie.
Cap or Die says Glazers planning on selling TV rights. Welcome, Cap or Die. And IQ and saying, guys, Glazers are selling 25% TV rights for 10 years just to get 200 million. We need to stop this in capital letters.
Okay. So we are talking about, if you're new to the channel, 64 in the chat, please give us a subscribe and like as well. And we're going to go on to Phil first. Phil, Manchester United, obviously the rumors coming out, Twitter went on meltdown because there was a tweet up about by Man United, a little running joke apparently. All of a sudden, loads of other stuff coming out now. And so Radcliffe now, apparently rumored is, might or try to buy some part of Manchester United. Anything on that at all?
So I started getting stuff on this on Sunday. You know, lads, Manchester United fans, it's not new that there's been rumours about the Glazers selling. And you always have to countenance this with the desire to want this information to be true. However, The sources of information that were given to me by people who have locked social media accounts, who aren't in this for likes and retweets and Twitter following, who demand anonymity, who clearly are professional people who work in both law and in football finance. That is irrefutable. So it's reasonable to assume that these people, one, are accurate, two, know what they're talking about. And it was really interesting. About a month ago, I had a message from one of these individuals telling me I should contact them, but I ignored it. And they've supplied me with information. I've checked it out. I've checked out who they are. I've checked out who they represent. And I think it's reasonable to conclude that what they're telling me is accurate, because I can't find any other incentive for why they would tell me that. That shows that Manchester United are soliciting offers to see if they can procure interest that would meet their valuation to sell the football club. I have no doubt that the Glazers are open to multiple different ideas. If someone wants to come in and give them money and keep them there, they take it. Why wouldn't they? I would too. But the appetite for that is not great. I could see what was really interesting. I spoke to an individual at Bloomberg and asked, what is the legal responsibility of Manchester United in this situation to deny these rumours, given that it artificially inflates the stock price? And they're legally obligated to deny it if it's not true. And they always have in the past. Now, they were asked repeatedly, do you want to push back on these stories? And they said no. So they just said no comment. And that's as good as confirmation. It's not a denial. Also, I've written scathing articles in the past about United's finance, and they're incredibly sensitive to it. I mean, the last time I did this, they sent me an email comprised of about an hour's reading material, addressing the issues, trying to get me to publish corrections. Even as far back as a month ago, when I criticized the whole aspect of the team viewer contractual situation, 3 minutes later, they were on to me saying, you need to publish a correction because we disagree with this. But all of a sudden, that sensitivity has disappeared. The fact that they haven't even commented on it to me is very, very telling. The fact that Richard Arnold said 5 weeks ago they badly need investment to do the basics. And the only reason why they need investment is not because they've had a shortage of cash, it's because of what's been taken out. So why would you give people more money when they're the root cause of the problem? And so to me, I would say it's a reasonable extrapolation to say that this football club they're checking out the market to see if they can find potential buyers. Look, that's not new. The Glazers are business people. Once it makes more sense to sell than it does to keep it, they'll sell it. And they obviously wanted to cash in on the Super League, which would have added tremendous commercial value to Manchester United. It didn't happen. The streaming rate bonanza hasn't happened. United's viewing figures are down significantly because of how bad they are. Look, international fans have a different relationship. I mean, sport and culture in America is very different to sport and culture in the UK. People here have no problem supporting 3-4 teams. Kids who play FIFA just don't have the same loyalty, and they will abandon your team in 5 minutes. So when you're saying you've got 700 million fans, well, there's a difference between a fan of the team and a fan of the club. And the fans of the team will turn on you as soon as you don't play well, and they'll just go support someone else. That's what happens. Jim Ratcliffe is a season ticket holder at Chelsea. So it's also extremely, I don't understand how it's in Jim Ratcliffe's interest to come out and say that he'd be interested in buying Manchester United and alert people to his interest, because surely that's going to invite other interested parties and push the price up. Surely it would be Ineos's interest to come out and say United are not for sale, even though it's not their job to say that. It's Man United's job to say that.
Yeah. And again, I'm going to come to, let's go to bath time with this as well. Bath time. On this, basically, on Sunday, after the news came up Monday, basically, Man United on the stock exchange, I think it went up about 8%.
Back up to what it was when they first floated it.
Yeah. So with sort of like what Phil's saying there, with Man United up for sale, could you probably see this happening? And would it be something very soon, or this is something that we just got to sit tight and wait for?
I
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely not going to happen in sort of 6 months or something like that. I would I mean, like, look, I don't know a huge amount about finance and stuff like that. I know as a United fan, you need to know about leverage takeovers and things these days. But I know about blocks and like rest defenses and stuff. But okay, so in terms of the share price, it's a bit like your house, isn't it? Like, if the price of your house goes up, it doesn't mean more money in your pocket. Like, it just means that you can sell it for more, and maybe you can take out more of a mortgage or against it as collateral. I think the Glazers are up to their neck in sort of like leverage debt on the club, and I can't imagine that they can take any more out at the moment, and they probably wouldn't be able to service it. So I'm not sure how much the share price going up affects them unless it's a sale. It only matters if it's a sale. With Jim Radcliffe and the rest of these guys, I'll be honest, Solo, I don't really know. I mean, Jim Radcliffe is 70. Maybe mortality's got to him and he wants some kind of legacy. I doubt it. But I have absolutely no idea, and I don't think that anyone can say, I've heard that United are going to be sold within 5 weeks to Michael Knighton and David Hasselhoff. Yeah, like, I mean, I would think 18 months is a sort of a generous estimate of when we can see them swapping keys or whatever they do.
Let's brush also with that as well. Obviously, he was Chelsea. He bid it for Chelsea, but I think he went in for Chelsea a little bit too late. He joined the party a lot later than sort of what it was. So the agreement already was put in place at Chelsea. And as what Bartime just said, it's almost like a legacy. But would this be a good legacy for him to buy Manchester United?
I think we're kind of started to put 2 and 2 together due to that interest in Chelsea. It was just due to that failed bid that all of this connection and potential bid of United came about. So I'm just kind of holding tight until we have more information to see if, it's solidified. It's not going to be easy to get the Glazers out. I think, like Phil touched on, listen, for them, we are just an asset in their portfolio, a very valuable asset, one that almost runs itself, one that they can use to back any loan they wish to take out at any time for any of their other interests. It would require a significant bid over the odds for them to consider selling up. They'll probably be, do you know what? It'll be similar to how Barcelona have gone about dealing with Jong and these deferred wages, where if an offer were to come in for United, they would probably want the buying party to then also clear all of their debts as well. So it's a difficult process. It's going to take a long time.
Yeah. Also, a quick one on Monday with it as well. Obviously, Jim Radcliffe as well. He also owned Nice, who basically it seems like is investing quite heavily as well in that league with it as well. So is it something like if he did come to Man United, could you see the investment he could be doing sort of a lot more, bringing a lot more players and things like that?
Well, it's a good investment to do in Nice. They're doing all right. They've made some really good signings. And I don't think it would take much for them to be successful in the league. Just that bit of investment like that they've made, the players they brought in, they could be up there challenging for Champions League places or even challenging for the title. It doesn't take much in that league. But then that's small time compared to sort of taking on a task like Manchester United. And what you asked a question about, does he want to be a celeb? Is it mortality? As Bartime mentioned there, a really good point about that. I don't know. I mean, Jack Walker's, like I mentioned the other day, is a big name for Blackburn because he decided to sort of at his late age just to invest in football and get a name for himself, But I don't really care about these people because to me, they could all be pseudonyms, just playing each other. This guy, what's his name, who's taking over, supposed to be taking over? What's his name again? Radcliffe, like he could be Glazer, for all we know. He could be a pseudonym for Glazer. I just don't know, and I don't really care because I don't really like that world of business. That it's really shady for me. I just want the club to be run correctly and some transparency with what we're seeing. I want to see some figures out there, annual report, which suggests that everything's under control and we're looking good and we can build and be self-sustainable in the future. And I also want to see us start to have that conveyor belt with the manager we have now of bringing younger players through and sort of having that sort of identity that we used to as well, and still be successful. That's what makes the club important to me. That's why I love the club, and all this other stuff about finance and everything else, I'm not interested in.
That's the thing.
We need to get back to football and winning games and enjoying games and watching Tuesday night 10 p.m. to watch the eye test when me and Bath Time analyze it, and that's really enjoyable for us.
Can we just
that's
read
the
this
thing
out
though,
quickly
isn't it,
before
Omundi?
we go?
Sorry,
Rush, before we go, because this will disappear in a minute. Omundi?
Yeah, sorry. Rebels dropped 5 Irish pound, I think is. I don't know, is it Irish pounds they call it?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Oh, yeah, okay. Or euros.
Euros.
It's euros, yeah, sorry.
Euros.
So he's saying Glazers sell now for 4 to 5 billion. Those rat trousers. These purchases are about padding the share price. Take what's on the table and F off. It's the second time he's sworn. He swore yesterday.
He swore yesterday. That's £10 in the swear jar as well. Yeah, £10 in the swear jar for him. Sorry, Brush, and then I'll go on to Phil afterwards. Go on, Brush.
I just wanted to touch on what Omundi was saying quickly. It's not about having, the billionaire owner come in and just fund us with unlimited funds. It's just about having people who care, who put the right structure into place.
Yeah, agreed.
59 in the chat, guys. If you're new to the channel, please give us a subscribe, and also remember there's only 38 likes, so make sure you hit it up. And Phil, sorry, you were going to say something earlier.
I don't know, man, I've already forgotten. I just echo what the sentiments are. We don't need some wealthy benefactor or some plutocrat. United just need someone that cares about the things that matter to you and me, that care to fans. Some things are more important than money. We wouldn't sell our children. There's just some things that are sacred. And one of the things we found out, lads, during COVID and other times is Manchester United and people's football clubs mean a lot to their mental health. It means a lot to them general. Supporting a football club makes no sense really, but we do it because we love it. And some things really matter. It's not just about you and me. It's about our kids. It's about everyone else. And I just want my football club back.
Yeah, it's true. It is, and it's sort of like, again, for us, I'm going to change the subject slightly. We started this channel off roughly in COVID because obviously there was not much to do, and a lot of it, what we found was a lot of people enjoy what we're doing because they could tune in and listen to myself on Monday and Mr. B ramble on about Manchester United. So it's a case of just forgetting your everyday, what you're doing every day, and then just taking a little break away and just being your own world by talking football, making the comments in the chats and stuff like that. So it does help, and having no fans there at the ground as well also would have hit the Glazers in their pocket as well, because after COVID, if I'm right to say, or in the middle of COVID, they took about 120 million out of the club as well. So
they had to make a bridging loan to pay their bills, and so look, we all accept the vicissitudes of being a fan, the ups and downs that comes with being a fan. You don't win every week. You have bad players, bad games, bad results that comes. It's all about why. There's the reason why we're going through that was completely avoidable. And to me, I'm tired of this, and it belongs to all of us.
Yeah, and also I think Rebel put a comment in earlier regarding the revenue now on Champions League and Europa League and the conference as well. Is it a conference as well? It's not the conference, the other one below the Europa League. Basically, the money in that now is that's from what, this season or next season. There's a massive cash injection in that as well, Phil.
Well, I mean, obviously they had to respond to the Super League, but it's still minuscule compared to the Champions League. And there's when you look at the money that's being spent at the top end of the league, lads, Chelsea, Liverpool, City, Arsenal, United are not guaranteed to be anywhere in that top four like they once were. And it's not just one summer; it's sustained spending. Now Newcastle are coming into it. And the question is, can Manchester United thread the needle between being an ATM for the Glazers and also spending the requisite amount of money to compete? There's a reason why Bournemouth don't qualify for the Champions League. Spending money matters.
Yeah. Again, We're just going to go through some comments now quickly. Bath time or Omundi, which one? Who like take 50 in the comments, please, if you're new to the channel. And Douglas, we can see you. Welcome to the channel, sir.
You want this bath time?
Yeah, okay. I feel like a hula on Star Trek. All right, Rebel. Because they can double the family's net worth, and the club is at the point they need to spend to protect the future income, and they have no interest in popping money in. Emma, can you even sell TV rights in England?
I mean, you could take a loan out against future revenues. I mean, technically it would be against TV rights, but if you make it's like a mortgage. If you make £100,000 a year, where the source of that revenue doesn't really matter. If you consistently make it, you can borrow against it. So they could borrow against it for sure. But the tricky part is, as unlikely as it is, what would happen if United went down?
Don't say that.
But seriously, lads, over the last 20 games, United would be second bottom.
Yeah.
I mean, and look at Everton last season. And so you competitive. The Premier League is very, very competitive. I want to ask you a question. What fixture are you confident of winning?
I predicted Man United will be in the bottom three up until October.
Well, United are bottom of the league, and I know it's only 2 games, but that means that they've made the worst start out of all the teams by some distance. Alexis McAllister is United's top goal scorer. It's not an accident, but I mean, take a look at last season. United have managed to get worse from last season, and none of those players are identifying with any important tangible that you need. It's not about ability, it's about mental, it's about physical application. We're talking about players being fit in the middle of a season. How are they not fit? How is Solskjaer coming in saying we need to have the fittest team in the league in the middle of the season and they're not fit? How's Rangnick saying they're not fit? There's too many injuries. That's the middle of the season. There's no excuse. These are the most basic things as a professional that you should take control of yourself. It's nothing to do with the club or the owners. That's how you discipline yourself. What's the punitive measures? What's the incentives? And there's something clearly rotten at that football club.
Yeah. Not only the senior team, but the under-21s as well.
I mean, the place stinks of neglect. The basic duty of care to that business. It's not even a well-run business. It's never been a well-run football club.
Yeah. I saw something regarding as well. I don't know if it was someone taking a mickey, but it's almost they were saying about making the place look a little bit better by sending the paint and decorator in, just to put a few little paints on.
Yeah, it's Manchester United to a T.
Oh, absolutely brilliant. Sorry, go on again, bath time with the apologies.
Cheers. K Slate is saying, if we can get Martial healthy and keep Varane healthy, hopefully we can get out of the bottom 3 before October. Solo. Hello, Robbie. Highly recommend you listen back or watch Phil's podcast from earlier tonight.
Thank you,
Top class.
Brilliant.
Thank
Brilliant.
you.
So blessed to have Brush Phil on tonight. Absolute legends.
Cheers, lads. Thank you.
Such intelligent Man United fans on the panel tonight, speaking the truth. Voice of the fans.
Yeah. That's a democracy there. I'm choosing all the good comments. That's lovely. Thank you very much.
Like on Monday, we normally do the thing called any other business. So we're going to take a Monday away. And on Monday, any other business from you, sir?
Yeah, something outstanding for me. Kobe playing for the youth team today. He had his head up in midfield, deep in midfield, looked up and sprayed a lovely pass into the stride of Hansen, who brought it down with his chest. Right there, like Suarez. I remember a few years ago, done that for Liverpool. Ball came over like that on his chest. Bam! Defender running with him, dropped into his stride and dinked it over the keeper. That's the youth coming through. Kobe and Hansen looking really good. So that's my other business. Keep an eye on them, guys.
Brush, absolute pleasure as always having you, sir. Any other business for you?
Yeah, thank you for having me. No, the last thing I just want to leave the people with is don't be distracted by any of the new signings and things they use usually to keep us busy. Make sure that you keep pressure on their necks. Blazers out.
Bath time?
Nah.
Phil.
I would agree, lads. you can't fix a broken marriage with a bunch of flowers. I mean, you know, so making signings in a way to appease fans is not realistic. And I think you need to keep the eye on the prize because they've never been closer to cracking. I want to say, congratulate, brilliant, job done to all the United fans collectively as a community. I know we disagree on silly things like players and managers and what have you, but we agree on most things. We agree that the football club needs to be put into better custodians so that we have something to pass on to our kids and something to enjoy while we're here. So I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. I hope you're all safe. I hope your mental health and physical health is good. I hope all your families are good. And much love to all of you. And thanks for having me on, boys.
As always,
Thank
Phil.
you.
Phil, before you go though, we just always want to find out where we can find you, sir.
Yes, lads, you can find me at Malachans on Twitter, MALACHIANS, or at Beyond the Pitch. And I, honest to God, I'm grateful for every follower, every single one of you. I'm grateful for, and all the support in my work and yourselves, lads. So thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Phil. And it was an absolute pleasure having you back on again.
Cheers, boys.
We keep in contact all the time, and sort of, you know, which is, I think, is very nice as well as a community and as a Man United community, doing sort of collabs together. And Phil is always happy to join us as well. So, Phil, absolute pleasure as always, having you on.
Cheers, lads.
And it's been a pleasure. Bath time, sir. Where can we find you?
We know where we find you.
Tuesday night, 10 o'clock.
Yeah, that's where you find me. You can't find me anywhere else. And please don't try to.
And Brush, where can we find this? Absolute Brush, Brush put me into this group, and it's a community. I absolutely love every minute in that group as well. So Brush, thank you as well.
Yeah, you guys can find me here as a guest panelist on occasion, and usually in the comments and just about generally.
Thank you. And you can find him on Twitter as well as Brush, isn't it?
Yes, it's Twitter at Brushy87, all capitals.
There you go. Come on, Brush. Don't do that to yourself. But guys, listen, there's 52 in the chat. I would like to say thanks to Omundi, Brush, Bath Time, and a massive thanks to Phil. Phil's done a couple of recordings today and literally drop in as well to help and support the channel as well. We are actually on the road to... Thank you. We're on the road to 2.5k subscribers, guys. We're very close to it. So make sure if you're new to the channel, give us a hit, subscribe. And remember, at 10 o'clock as well, there is the Friday night takeaway. So make sure you do not miss that show. That will be featuring Mr. B and TalkMU. And you'll have Thomas and Matthew on that as well. So guys, make sure you tune in. And from us...
Hold on. Just add, make sure you watch the takeaway tonight. And also, if you like boxing, at 10 o'clock tonight, I'm doing the preview for the AJ fight, and that'll be at 10 o'clock tonight.
Who have you got, big man? So is AJ going to win?
No, I think he's going to lose, to be fair. I think
it's a different class. But
and also, so make sure you tune in, Phil, or watch your FDB Sports. That's I've got Michael Sprott coming on with me, who's an ex-heavyweight boxer, and Robert Lloyd Taylor as well, prize fighter winner. So that's at 10 p.m. And also the live watch along for the Monday Madness, which is TalkMU. He will be commentating with the main man, Mr. B, and they will be, oh my God, emotional. They will definitely be emotional.
Cheers, boys. Thanks, lads. See ya.
Thank you, guys. And thank you. Have a lovely, thank you. Guys, from us at the Man United Agenda, we'd like to say have a lovely night. Good night, guys.